Greetings from our channel again. Mel Gibson was a well-known figure in Hollywood in the past, both for his dramatic scandals and his acting prowess. From his captivating blue eyes in Mad Max to his role as a world-renowned director in Braveheart, Gibson became one of the biggest names in film history. However, beneath the glittering celebrity lurks the shadow of his private life's many setbacks, outrageous remarks, and personal scandals. In addition to being a gifted filmmaker, he was also a guy who had to deal with the consequences of his own choices. He ascended steadily to the summit, only to be rocked by scandals. However, Gibson persevered through all of the difficulties and returned stronger than before. The story of Mel Gibson, an artist who not only achieved success on screen but also faced difficulties in his personal life, is one of both victory and sorrow. Discover Mel Gibson's journey and the untold secrets of his life by subscribing to our channel right now. Childhood. Mel Columcille Gerard Gibson was born into a large, pious Irish Catholic family in Peekskill, New York, on January 3, 1956. Mel was raised in a loving yet demanding household as the sixth of 11 children. He was called after Saint by his pious Catholic parents, Hutton Gibson and Patricia Riley. St. Columcille, one of Ireland's well-known 12 apostles, and Mel, the bishop of the Diocese of Ardagh. Mel Gibson's name suggested that greatness was in his future. The Gibsons weren't impoverished, but they also weren't rich. Hutton Gibson, Mel's father, was employed by the New York Central Railroad. Hutton had to resign following a severe workplace accident. Hutton sued the business using his cunning and tenacity, and he was awarded a $145,000 settlement, a substantial amount at the time. The Gibson family was able to overcome their financial obstacles and start anew with the help of this money. As the Vietnam War intensified in the late 1960s, Hutton was opposed to his boys being drafted. He made the decision to relocate the whole family to Australia as a result. This was a crucial choice, establishing the groundwork for Mel's acting career in addition to influencing the family's lives. The family moved to Australia and settled in the Sydney neighbourhood of West Pymble. Mel Gibson spent his adolescent years here, adjusting to a new society and starting to hone his nascent artistic abilities. Mel received his education from the Christian Brothers at St. Leo's College, a Catholic institution. His time in school was uneventful. However, moving to Australia from the United States changed Mel's outlook on life and art. He had no ambitions to pursue acting at this time. Mel actually had aspirations of becoming a journalist, but destiny had other plans for him. Gibson started to pursue his artistic abilities because of his sister. She discreetly applied for Mel to the National Institute of Dramatic Art, or NIDA, in Sydney without his awareness because she recognized his mischievous nature and capacity to make a lasting impression on people. Mel didn't like the idea at first. He actually got into a fight the day before his audition after drinking too much, which left his face swollen and damaged. Nevertheless, the judge was drawn to this flawed aspect, and Mel Gibson's tough visage and assertive nature won him acceptance into the Academy. Mel formally started his acting career at NIDA. He lived with a group of pals, including the Oscar-winning Geoffrey Rush, many of whom would go on to become well-known figures in the film industry. Mel appeared in a number of noteworthy plays during this time, such as Romeo and Juliet, where she played the lead alongside Judy Davis, and an experimental adaptation of A Midsummer Night's Dream. Join us as we delve further into the journey from a young, aspirational Sydney lad to a Hollywood A-lister. Remember to subscribe to our channel so you can keep up with the amazing tales of your favorite celebrities. Early career. Mel Gibson obtained a number of acting roles immediately following his graduation from Australia's National Institute of Dramatic Art, or NIDA, in the late 1970s, marking the official start of his film career. Gibson received a meager $400 for his debut feature, Summer City, 1977, but it was a significant start to his lengthy and turbulent career. Gibson began to get the attention of regional producers and directors because of this part, even if the movie did not create much of a sensation. But it was his role in the iconic movie Mad Max in 1979 that gave Mel Gibson his big break. Mad Max, which is set in a harsh post-apocalyptic future, was a huge home hit as well as a movie that helped Gibson become well-known worldwide. Gibson's portrayal of Max Rakitansky, a resentful police officer in a chaotic world, demonstrated his proficiency in action roles and solidified his status as one of the most well-known action stars of the era. It's interesting to note that Gibson had a rather unusual journey to play Mad Max. Gibson's face was swollen from a nasty altercation he had been in prior to his audition. He anticipated being cast as a villain or a supporting role when he showed up for the audition with a bruised face. However, director George Miller chose to put him in the starring part because of his gruff appearance. Gibson went back to the audition when his face had healed, and he was given the opportunity to make the life-altering choice. With a global box office total of over $100 million, Mad Max became a cinematic phenomenon and gave Gibson the opportunity to become one of the biggest performers in the world. Two sequels, Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, 1981, and Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, 1985, were swiftly produced as a result of Mad Max's popularity, enhancing Gibson's standing in the global motion picture industry. In addition to making Gibson a legendary action movie star, these movies also brought in a sizable salary for him. Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome alone brought in over $1.2 million. Mel Gibson shone his flexibility by playing parts in a variety of genres in addition to being an action star. About World War I, Gibson's performance earned him the Australian Academy of Cinema's Best Actor Award, proving that he was not only an action star but also a talented actor who could provide powerfully emotional performances. Gibson's portrayal of Frank Dunn, a soldier who opposed war but was forced to face its realities, received great praise from critics for its emotional depth. Gallipoli is a film that follows young Australian soldiers during the bloody struggle in the Ottoman Empire. In addition to marking the beginning of Mel Gibson's significant achievements, the early years of his career allowed him to refine his skills in a variety of roles. Gibson made another impression in 1982 when he starred in Peter Weir's film The Year of Living Dangerously. The movie chronicles the experiences of Western journalists covering the crisis in Indonesia. And Gibson's first step towards Hollywood was this performance, which helped him achieve considerable fame in the American market. Mel Gibson was prepared for the next significant step, which was to become a true Hollywood celebrity, after establishing himself in Australia. He demonstrated during this time that he was a gifted actor who could switch between action and drama films. Mel Gibson not only enthralled viewers, but he also started to establish himself as one of the most significant film stars of the 1980s and 1990s. Keep checking back as we delve deeper into Mel Gibson's ascent to fame in Hollywood with films that bear his signature. Remember to subscribe to our channel as well, so you don't miss any of our amazing celebrity tales. Prosperous career. Mel Gibson entered Hollywood fast after showcasing his skills in early action and drama flicks, where he established himself as a masterful director in addition to being a successful performer. His career peaked in the 1980s and 1990s with a string of successful motion pictures and performances that have gone down in movie history as classics. The 1987 movie Lethal Weapon was one of the major turning points in Mel Gibson's career. Gibson's image underwent a significant change with this film as he successfully transitioned into action comedy. Gibson made Martin Riggs, an erratic and careless police officer grieving over the loss of his wife, one of the action heroes of the 1980s. Lethal Weapon's flawless fusion of humor and compelling character development made it a global hit as well as a monetary success. With a total of over $120 million, the movie spawned 3 lucrative sequels. Gibson's status as a leading action performer was further cemented with Lethal Weapon 2, 1989, Lethal Weapon 3, 1992, and Lethal Weapon 4, 1998. But performing wasn't the only thing that made him successful. Mel Gibson also established himself as a superb director. Gibson made his directorial debut in 1993. Although the movie didn't do well at the box office, it showed off Gibson's directing abilities. But the 1995 movie Braveheart marked the most important turning point in Gibson's directing career. He received 10 Academy Award nominations for the epic story of Scotland's struggle for independence from England, and he won 5 of them, including 2 of the most coveted ones, Best Picture and Best Director. In addition to making a lasting impression on viewers, Gibson's portrayal of Scottish national hero William Wallace elevated Braveheart to the status as one of the best films ever filmed. Gibson's reputation as one of the greatest filmmakers of the time was solidified by Braveheart's epic battles, poignant plot, and message of liberation. He became well known throughout the world as a result of the movie, which also helped him become a highly successful filmmaker in addition to an actor. Mel Gibson continued to have an influence with The Patriot in 2000 after Braveheart's success. Gibson once again demonstrated his strong and emotive acting skills in the part of American soldier Benjamin Martin during the Revolutionary War. The movie made over $215 million at the box office, solidifying his standing as one of the top actors in Hollywood. The Passion of the Christ, a highly controversial but wildly successful movie released in 2004, was another significant accomplishment in Mel Gibson's career. He served as the film's producer, co-writer, and director. The film, which was shot entirely in Hebrew, Latin, and Aramaic, concentrated on the final hours of Jesus Christ's life, establishing linguistic distinctiveness and authenticity. But the film's creation and release were far from straightforward. Religious organizations, especially Jewish ones, have criticized The Passion of the Christ, claiming that its content could provoke anti-Semitic feelings. Furthermore, a lot of big studios declined to release the movie, dreading the potential for worldwide uproar and its tremendous savagery. Consequently, Gibson contributed $30 million of his own funds to cover the majority of the production expenses. The movie's release was made more difficult by calls for boycotts and censorship in a number of nations. Nevertheless, Gibson bravely and resolutely decided to release the movie through an independent distributor. Notwithstanding these difficulties, The Passion of the Christ was a huge hit, earning over $600 million globally and, at the time, becoming the highest-grossing R-rated movie ever. This triumph demonstrated Gibson's audacious filmmaking and perseverance in the face of adversity. Gibson also broadened his entertainment career by contributing his voice to animated films, including Disney's 1995 Pocahontas, in addition to his success on the big screen. Mel Gibson's career entered a difficult but equally successful era following the enormous success of The Patriot and The Passion of the Christ. Despite continuing to produce outstanding pictures, he took a lengthy break from the limelight due to personal scandals. Among these flicks, Apocalypto 2006 was one of the most noteworthy. With its vast cinematography, intricate plot, and eerie visuals, Gibson wrote, produced, and directed this epic film, which took place in the latter days of the Mayan civilization. Throughout the movie, Gibson once more employed the Mayan language, which added to its authenticity and distinctiveness. Despite criticism for its portrayal of violence in Mayan culture, Apocalypto was a box office triumph and garnered a lot of accolades from critics. Mel Gibson's reputation as a fearless filmmaker who isn't afraid to push the envelope was further cemented by the movie. But the years after Apocalypto also saw Gibson deal with significant personal controversies, which led to a backlash from the public and a crisis in his career. As a result of these incidents, he lost the support of many in the entertainment business and was shunned by Hollywood. His career and public image were severely damaged by his contentious remarks and deeds during this period. However, Mel Gibson triumphantly returned in 2016 with the film Hacksaw Ridge, after spending almost 10 years in the background. Desmond Doss, a World War II doctor who saved dozens of men during the Battle of Okinawa despite refusing to carry a pistol, is the subject of the film. Gibson received positive reviews from critics and viewers, which led to his nomination for Best Director at the Academy Awards. The movie signaled Gibson's incredible return to directing and confirmed that, in spite of his personal difficulties, he is still one of Hollywood's most gifted people. Mel Gibson is without a doubt one of the most significant people in film over the past few decades, despite the fact that his career has been filled with ups and downs. In addition to his legendary performances, he has made a lasting impression with his audacious and provocative directing, which never fails to provoke discussion and introspection. Remember to subscribe to our channel to learn more about the lives and careers of celebrities like Mel Gibson if you enjoy hearing about movie stars and their journeys. Personal life. Mel Gibson is a well-known actor and filmmaker, yet his personal life has been filled with controversy, strife, and upheaval. Gibson has frequently faced enormous obstacles that have had a significant impact on his career and public image, ranging from his marriage to contentious remarks. In the past, Mel Gibson's family life was seen as the model of a Hollywood ideal. He wed Robin Moore in 1980. In Forestville, New South Wales, an Australian dental nurse attended a Catholic church wedding. Together, the couple produced 7 children: Hannah, Edward, Christian, William, Louis, Milo, Thomas, and 1 daughter. The Gibson family maintained a low profile over their 26 years of marriage, hardly ever showing up in the media or in public. But it was not as harmonious as it appeared. Mel Gibson's marriage started to show signs of strain after he was jailed for drunk driving in Malibu in 2006. Days after the arrest, in July 2006, he and Robin formally parted ways. As he became more and more dependent on alcohol, Gibson acknowledged in an interview that his marriage had come to a standstill, even though the real cause of the split was never made public. In 2011, their divorce was finalized. And the divorce turned out to be among the priciest in Hollywood history. Without a prenuptial agreement, Gibson and Robin got half of Gibson's money, or more than $400 million. Gibson suffered a serious financial and public setback as a result. Mel Gibson started dating Russian singer Oksana Grigorieva after splitting from Robin. The media swiftly took notice of their romance. Following the birth of their daughter Lucy in October 2009, the couple's relationship terminated a year later, leading to a number of disputes, legal actions, and accusations of abuse. Oksana Grigorieva accused Gibson of domestic abuse during their relationship and filed for a restraining order against him in June 2010. Publicly available audio recordings showed Gibson using derogatory words and threatening others. The public was shocked when these tapes swiftly went viral. In addition to receiving harsh criticism, The affair cost Gibson a number of contracts in the entertainment industry, including being kicked out of The Hangover Part 2 as a result of pressure from the cast and crew. Gibson was fined $750,000 and forced to pay $40,000 a month in child support for Lucy until she reached 18, despite his continuous denials of the abuse and his claims that the tapes had been altered to portray him negatively. Oksana received a $2.4 million Sherman Oaks home as part of Gibson and Oksana's separation. Mel Gibson's 2006 arrest for drunk driving in Malibu was one of the most notorious incidents in his career. But more shocking than his drunkenness were the derogatory comments he made to the cops while they were arresting him. Gibson made extremely insulting remarks about Jews while losing control, saying that Jews are to blame for all world conflicts. This statement sparked a huge response from Hollywood as well as the Jewish community. Gibson later expressed regret in public and admitted that he was struggling with mental health and alcohol addiction. Although he pledged to get help and improve himself, the tragedy put a stop to his career for a number of years. Gibson was essentially put on a Hollywood blacklist following the controversy. Numerous co-workers shunned him, he lost important projects, and he was the target of public boycotts. His attempts to repair his reputation and provide an apology did not seem to be enough to stop the outcry he had sparked. Mel Gibson persisted in his love of filmmaking in the face of multiple scandals and disasters. His 2016 film Hacksaw Ridge, for which he was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Director, marked a dramatic return to the film industry after he had been shut out for almost 10 years. The movie made the point that Gibson's skill was still indisputable in spite of the numerous setbacks he had suffered in his personal and professional life. In addition, a number of well-known co-workers, including his Jodie Foster, Robert Downey Jr., and Sylvester Stallone, openly stood by him during his trying times. Gibson was able to gradually restore his reputation in the film industry thanks to these pals. Mel Gibson kept working on big-budget motion pictures, such as Force of Nature 2020, Boss Level 2021, and Dragged Across Concrete 2018. For a while, his career appeared to be reviving. A living example of the intricacy and unpredictable nature of life is Mel Gibson. He used to be one of Hollywood's biggest stars, but he frequently made bad choices and said contentious things that caused him to stumble. But thanks to his unwavering work ethic and exceptional talent, Gibson has slowly made a comeback to the public eye, demonstrating that he is not only a talented director and actor but also someone who can rise from the ashes. Remember to subscribe to our channel and stick around if you want to learn more about the lifestyles of Hollywood celebrities and behind-the-scenes stories. Current life and legacy. Mel Gibson has managed to regain prominence in recent years despite a number of scandals and difficulties in his personal and professional lives. Gibson has slowly rebuilt his reputation after being shunned for a long period by the same industry that once praised him. Beginning with his comeback to acting and his recent directing endeavors that have caused a stir in the film industry. Mel Gibson is still actively involved in film projects as a director and actor, maintaining a stable career. He portrayed the lead in On the Line, 2022, one of his most well-known recent flicks. Gibson's comeback to the psychological thriller genre with this production demonstrated his willingness to take on new and difficult roles. To further contribute to the contemporary action picture genre, he is also working on other projects, like as The Continental, a prequel to the John Wick series that will be released soon. The Passion of the Christ Resurrection, the follow-up to The Passion of the Christ, 2004, is one of Gibson's most ambitious upcoming projects as a director. The film is predicted to be just as contentious as the first one, particularly because of its delicate theological issues, but it is also projected to be a classic that will solidify Gibson's reputation in the film industry. In contrast to the turbulent years he had previously experienced, Mel Gibson's personal life appears to have stabilized outside of his job. He is contentedly living with Rosalind Ross, his longtime partner, and they recently welcomed Lars Gerard, Gibson's ninth kid. In 2017, Gibson seems to have found harmony with his new family despite his previous marital difficulties, and he still keeps close ties with his former spouse's children. Mel Gibson's famous roles in critically acclaimed films are not the only things that define his legacy in Hollywood. His name is also associated with personal failures and conflicts. But there is no denying that Gibson has made a significant contribution to the history of film. Not only as an exceptional filmmaker but also as a gifted performer. Gibson's life and career, from Mad Max to Braveheart, from scandals to victorious comebacks, are a complicated and multidimensional tale in which skill and personal hardship coexist. Gibson continues to be one of the most contentious and significant people in contemporary filmmaking, despite his amazing triumphs and heartbreaking setbacks. In addition to his artistic ability, he has inspired others with his ability to bounce back from setbacks. Despite the challenges life has presented, Mel Gibson's steadfast pursuit of passion may be his greatest legacy. Gibson's current existence, which is more tranquil now that he is with his family and working on new films, is evidence of the lengthy journey he has taken, one that has been filled with both glory and important lessons from his own failures. Mel Gibson. With iconic films and a career full of highs and lows, this name has made its mark on the annals of cinematic history. He has been resilient and keeps reaffirming his tremendous potential in the face of many difficulties and conflicts. To honor an artist who has been courageous and unwavering in his cause, leave your thoughts on Mel Gibson in the comments section below. Please feel free to share this video with other moviegoers if this account of his life has given you insightful and fascinating new information. To join us for more stories on Hollywood luminaries, remember to hit like and subscribe on our channel. I'll see you in the upcoming video.